One bright morning, Shadow and Frost found themselves in a place unlike the jungle, the big city. The towering buildings sparkled under the sun, and the sounds of honking cars, people chattering, and dogs barking filled the air. It was their first time in such a bustling place, and everything seemed new and exciting. As they explored, they couldn't help but feel a little out of place. The city was nothing like the familiar jungle, where they knew every tree, river, and rock. But they had each other, and that's what made them feel safe. Suddenly, Frost's ears perked up. "Did you hear that?" he asked, tilting his head. A soft whimper came from behind a nearby trash can. The two cubs cautiously approached, only to find a small puppy trapped underneath a pile of cardboard boxes. The poor thing looked scared and hungry. "We need to help him," Shadow said, his voice filled with concern. Frost nodded. "But how do we move these boxes? They're so big." Shadow thought for a moment and said, "Let's work together. I'll push from one side, and you pull from the other." The cubs sprang into action, combining their strength and determination. With a mighty push and pull, they moved the boxes and freed the puppy. The little dog wagged his tail in gratitude, licking both of their faces. Lesson: helping others is always worth the effort, no matter how big or small the problem. As they continued their journey through the city, they came across a park filled with children playing. Curious, Shadow and Frost watched from the sidelines as kids ran, jumped, and played games they had never seen before. A young girl noticed them and ran over. "Wow, you two are amazing. I've never seen a black tiger or a white wolf before," she exclaimed. The cub smiled shyly. "We're new to the city," Frost explained. "Everything here is so different." The girl nodded. "It can be a little overwhelming, but there's a lot to learn here. Want me to show you around?" And so, the girl took Shadow and Frost on a tour of the park. She taught them the rules of tag, how to swing on the monkey bars, and even how to slide down a slide. The cubs were hesitant at first, but with her encouragement, they tried each new activity. By the end of the day, Shadow and Frost were experts at sliding and swinging, all thanks to their new friend. Lesson: don't be afraid to try new things. With courage and a little help, you can learn anything. As the sun began to set, the girl waved goodbye and headed home. Shadow and Frost, now feeling more confident in the city, continued their adventure. But just as they were about to find a place to rest, they noticed a group of children surrounding a boy who was sitting alone on a bench, looking upset. Frost, always sensitive to others' feelings, nudged Shadow. "Let's see what's wrong." They approached the boy, who looked up in surprise. "What are you doing here? Aren't you wild animals?" "We are," Shadow said with a grin, "but that doesn't mean we can't be friends." "What's wrong?" The boy sighed. "I'm having trouble making friends. Everyone else is so good at playing games, and I'm not as fast or strong as them." Frost sat beside him. "I know how that feels. I used to think the same thing. But then I realized that everyone has their own special abilities. You don't have to be the fastest or the strongest, you just have to be yourself." Shadow chimed in. "Yeah, and sometimes, the best way to make friends is to be kind and help others. That's what really makes you strong." The boy smiled, feeling a bit better. "You really think so?" "We know so," Frost said confidently. "And we'll be your friends, too." Together, the cubs and the boy returned to the group of children, where they introduced the boy to everyone. Soon, they were all playing together, and the boy realized that he didn't need to be like everyone else, he just needed to be himself. Lesson: true strength comes from within, and being kind and true to yourself will help you make friends. As the moon rose high above the city, Shadow and Frost found a quiet spot to rest. They had helped a puppy, learned new games, and made a new friend, all in one amazing day. "I think we did pretty well for our first city adventure," Shadow said, stretching out. Frost nodded. "Yeah, and we learned so much. The city is different, but it's not so scary after all." With that, the two friends curled up together, their hearts full of the lessons they had learned, ready for whatever new adventure awaited them next.